The Dust Bunny Caddis is a simple and effective fly that has zero box appeal, which is one of the reasons why you won't see this fly in a fly shop. But as a fly tyer, we want those patterns that are simple and effective that nobody else has. So if you're going to tie along, the recipe for this fly is in the description below. This is the Dust Bunny Caddis. It's easy as heck to tie and one of the most effective caddis you can have in your box. So let's tie it. First, start by securing your favorite neutral colored thread to the hook. The smallest thread you feel you can get away with, that's what you should be using. Secure your thread to the shank of the hook and wrap it back just shy of the bend. The next step is to dub on the body. Traditionally, I use gray, superfine, dry fly dubbing for this particular fly. Even when the natural hatch calls for a tan or olive caddis, this gray does the trick. Dub the material onto the thread with only enough dubbing to slightly cover the thread. From here you can build a taper onto the thread to make the fly faster to tie. Once your dubbing is in place, begin to wrap back to the bend of the hook, and as soon as your thread is used up and the dubbing starts to touch the shank of the hook, start to wrap forward, keeping your wraps tight and adjacent to build a nice taper forward. If you have trouble dubbing a taper, just apply small amounts of dubbing until you build up your taper, or simply use thread and build up the taper by wrapping your thread on the shank of the hook to build up the body. However, practicing dubbing the taper onto your thread can help speed up the process of tying this fly. The next step is the wing. Natural gray CDC is the best. Select 2 or 3 CDC feathers for the wing. Now CDC has a natural bend to the feather. For a professional looking fly, cup the feathers and be sure to align the tips of the feathers like I've done here. This particular hook is a size 14 and the plumage on these particular feathers is thick. Therefore, for this fly, I only need 2 feathers. Regrouping the plumage of the feather by brushing it back with your fingertips will help with the symmetry and overall look of your fly. The wing of the caddis is slightly extended past the body of the fly. Therefore, my wing lines up with the overall size of the hook. With your material in place, be sure to hold it tight as you secure it to the hook. It's hard to tell on the video, but if you find your wing becoming lopsided as you secure it, it's because you're adding too much pressure on your very first wrap. You may need to use less pressure at first or adjust the wing so that when you do apply the pressure, the material slips to the top of the hook rather than to the far side. Once secure, pluck some of the webby material from the lower section of the CDC and dub that to your thread to build the head of this fly. Notice that the natural bugginess of the CDC is still apparent, meaning I didn't dub the CDC with so much pressure on the thread to lose the natural puffiness of the feather. Once all is secure, it's time to tie off the thread. Pull back the material and whip finish until secure. Snip off the excess thread. Regroup the excess CDC feathers and snip them off close to the head of the fly. Notice I didn't cut them off flush with the front of the fly. I left a very small tuft of material for the head. Now you can add some head cement if you want. And that's it, the Dust Bunny Caddis. The full recipe for this fly will be in the description below.